Do you guys go long or short into the weekend? You know we're going to get an announcement. We're winning the trade war. Have you heard, Tom? Have you heard that?
Yeah. I've heard.
It's time to buy U.S. stocks. Did you hear that, Tom? That was also announced
I've heard
yesterday.
that. I heard all that. With respect to U.S. stocks, we are flat, but we have been buying U.S. bonds. So I am long the bond market right here, and it's the only real directional position I have on. As far as stocks go, I'm not short. I want to be. I kind of feel like I want to start to get short, but right now I am delta long.
When you talk to people, do you feel like the sentiment? Do you think it's optimistic, neutral, or bearish right now? I get a sense that I get a sense when I talk to people, it's there's still a lot of bearish sentiment out there. We're gonna roll, they're too high. You don't get that.
Like you want to see. So Tony and I are a little different than most. Like we don't talk to the same kind of people that like people like that you talk to or you think about. Like we talk to traders. Like you're gonna see coming up next. We do something called fast market. Now Tony and I have not seen any of these trades that are put in by customers. And I will bet you.
I've been working here for years. You think I don't know the segment? Yeah, I know fast market.
Okay,
man.
He's informed.
I've been a co-host on.
He's informed, Sosnov. He's informed.
What I'm about to tell you is that I'm going to bet you that the majority of those trades, of those 10 trades, 8 of them are going to be bullish. So I'm going to the reason I'm telling you that is because our customers don't think like normal. They're not thinking like some, financial media person or some pundit or somebody that's just looking. They're going to be thinking about it from a trader perspective. And so I don't think they're necessarily bearish here.
So Vic, I'm going to give you my call because I don't like Tom speaking for me. I have said all week this is the most disrespected by the media rally that we have had in the market in recent time. And I thought we would kind of stay bullish all the way into this weekend. For the first time, you're starting to see the tweets get a little bit of media coverage, a lot of backlash from them, and a lot of preemptive announcements. So I think you're starting to see a little bit of maybe capitulation to the upside, where we can get a little bit of movement to the downside after this great news that's going to come out this weekend, whatever that may be from the media. So that's my take on it.
So much winning.
Yes.
So much winning.
Yes.
I can't take all this winning, Vic. I can't take.
I knew you'd be sick of it. Get ready, man. The deals are just flowing in. So
much
Thomas.
winning. Yes.
Okay. I didn't want to talk about this. I'm just curious. Do you have a quick response on the UK trade deal? I'm sure you've said it a couple of times, but what's your quick elevator on the UK announcement from yesterday?
Oh my God, just total PR bullshit.
You know what my first thing was? It's like, we don't even want our beef. we put RFK in the White House so we could stop eating this corn and stop eating this beef. And all of a sudden they're like, okay, you guys aren't going to eat it. Somebody's going to eat this goddamn beef. Who is it?
The reason they put RFK in the cabinet is because they need to make everybody else look relatively normal.
I don't know what he did, but they got some tapes, because that guy, I don't know who he is anymore. I don't know who he is.
Let me tell you something. Your initial support of that nutcase, he is out of his freaking mind, and you cannot support that guy.
RFK 2028. All right, let's move on. Bitcoin.
2028, yeah.
Bitcoin at 103, man. I want to go deeper here and more or less talk about Coinbase's announcement and their acquisition and the other acquisitions in the space.
Don't you think their announcement, though, of their earnings? I mean, there's been such a drop off in. I know the prices are higher, but it feels like the amount of interest has fallen off a cliff.
Yes, relative to the price. So their trading volumes were down.
Right,
nearly 20%. Their trading volumes were down this quarter relative to the fourth quarter, like 17 to 19%. You're still at 105, let's call it. We're $5,000 away from the high, but it feels nothing this quarter or right now like it did last quarter. That's sort of the interesting point here. I agree with you 1,000%. They missed revenue estimates. Revenue is still up year over year, like 24% or something. They missed the estimates. They dropped to like 200 this morning, but I think they're trading like 205 right now. Quickly, before I get into their acquisition news, which I think is the most interesting of the last 24 hours, quick thoughts on Bitcoin?
No, because you know what?
Can't do much with it, huh?
I mean, just like everybody else, I mean, on the last drop, we didn't buy any Bitcoin really. We bought some Ethereum at like, 17 and 1800. I didn't buy any below that. And that looks like it was a decent buy now, but we didn't buy any Bitcoin. I didn't sell any. I mean, I just really don't do much in crypto. I just buy it and then like forget about it. Like there's nothing else to do. So we're long everything, a little bit of everything. But I mean, I just don't even, like when people go Bitcoin's up to, blah, 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 whatever number.
You hate it?
Other than trading Coinbase or something, it doesn't really, I'm not even sure.
Because you hate the binary up and down. You hate it. And that's exactly why I wanted to talk about the acquisition and more or less the state of the Bitcoin derivatives market. So Bitcoin itself, there's obviously the centralized clearing futures with BTC, or there's the mini MBT. I think on the larger contract, you can go out like 80 or 90 days. There's 3 series listed right now. I think on the mini one, MBT.
That doesn't trade a lot, Vic. It's
correct,
not great.
By appointment only. And then MBT, I think they got one series listed on MBT. It's about 50 days out. IBIT is a little bit different story. So again, I'm going to pause for a second and just ask you for your thoughts on the current state of the derivatives market on Bitcoin. For a long time, we were waiting for IBIT, which was sort of the cash ETF, and then options to be listed on IBIT. Are you in any way sort of underwhelmed by the ability to express an opinion on IBIT? Why don't you go there and express an opinion more often?
When you say, you mean trade it?
Yes. Sorry. Why don't you trade it more?
Okay, well, that's a nicer way to say it than express an opinion.
That's you wouldn't know anything about that. That's how we traders say that.
I don't. I'm going to use that line forever now. Oh, I didn't lose any money. I was just expressing an opinion, and it didn't turn out to be right. So I expressed my opinion incorrectly. But I just don't love the markets in there, and I in a game of here, I'll tell you. Here's the 2 reasons. One, the liquidity is questionable. Even in IBIT, it's very questionable. And number 2, I look at these products for some reason as it's just another asset class. Like when you think about Bitcoin and you think about all the digital assets out there, I mean, it's smaller than Apple. So like if you said to me, why aren't you trading Apple right now? I mean, my answer would be, well, volatility is too low or whatever. It's already had its move. And when you have so many other asset classes with higher volatility than Bitcoin, to me, it's just another stock. That's the whole reason. So it's just another stock with worse liquidity. So I don't really think, when the S&Ps had a volatility of 14 and Bitcoin had a volatility of 100, it's super interesting. When Bitcoin has a volatility of 40 and and Tesla's volatility of 70 and it's actually liquid, I'd rather trade Tesla as an example. So it's not a question of like, did I all of a sudden forget about Bitcoin and blah, 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 all this stuff? It's really just that it's just not that interesting. That's
fair enough. Great response. Then really quickly, I'm sure you saw that Coinbase announced an acquisition of Durbit, just to set the table for anyone who doesn't know. They're doing a $2.9 billion cash and stock deal, $700 million cash, the rest in stock. I believe Durbit holds about 30% of global market share of the derivatives market. They're the biggest place to trade options and Ether globally. So obviously, it's a move to capture a bigger market share in the derivative space. It's a move to sort of compete with Binance. at a global level outside the United States. It follows a couple of other interesting or notable acquisitions. Kraken just recently purchasing NinjaTrader, and Ripple bought a firm as well. I'm curious, what did you think about this move? What do you think about the trend of M&A activity that we're seeing all across the crypto space right now?
Well, my answer is going to be very specific to this deal and to this space, so it's not really that interesting on a broad level to most of our viewers. But I think it's a huge. I think two things about the Coinbase thing. A, it's an overreach for what they're paying. Deribit to me has. I mean, if you ask me to make a blind market on Deribit, and I'm pretty good with this stuff, I would say it's not even worth $500 million, and they're paying 2.9. Like, it doesn't make any sense. The price they're paying makes no sense to me. They overreached by a ridiculous number. That's number one. Plus, they have no retail customers. It's all institutional, so it doesn't really have that much value, and that market can be carped. I don't like it at all. And second, Brian Armstrong is very stubborn because he refuses to get out of his little. He's very. It's almost like tunnel vision for him, and he refuses to go into other markets. And so essentially, whereas Kraken went global with their acquisition, which makes sense to me, and other firms are branching out and doing things in other financial products. Coinbase refuses to go that direction, and they double down on crypto and crypto derivatives in a marketplace that can easily be disrupted. Any firm can go in that as soon as it becomes it's not legal here in the U.S. yet. Mm-hmm. So, but any firm can go in that space. So I don't like the acquisition from a strategic side, or let's put it this way: I do like it in that they're getting into options. I don't love the price they paid for it, and I don't love the fact that if I was a Coinbase shareholder, which I'm not, I would have liked to see them go much broader and to buy a company that that supports lots of different markets. So I don't like the trade for them.
It's not exactly like it's an all or none, right? If you look at the space and you go, you have a pro crypto administration and you have still over $8 billion in cash on your balance sheet. It's not like even though it's expensive, it's 20% of the market cap. Yeah. There's still opportunity to do new deals.
Yeah, sure. They should. That deal didn't make any sense to me, but yeah, of course. Listen, what do I care? I mean, they built an amazing company. What do I know?
Do you like the idea of Bitcoin settled? LedgerX was a company that was offering sort of like Bitcoin settled options. It wasn't centrally cleared, but it was available. There were a few other little funky firms that were doing it before they were purchased by FTX and just taken down under in a wild ride. Do you like the idea of Bitcoin physically settled Bitcoin options versus sort of the cash settled options that are available right now in centrally cleared exchanges?
I mean, from somebody that's traded both physically settled stuff and cash settled, I mean, I am all in on the cash settled side. Who wants physically settled stuff? That's a nightmare. I mean, how can physically settled anything be? How's that even remotely interesting to anybody nowadays?
I mean, if you're sitting on a few coins and you want to sell upside against them without having to put up a ton of capital to hold the margin on it.
So what are you going to do? Put your Bitcoin somewhere?
Yes, that's exactly what you would do.
Give me a break.